want to be able to show you what we've been doing since 2010, and we plan to be doing in 2012. Starting in 2010, we started our surveys on the iPad. We had a fall 2010 survey that attracted almost 1,600 US respondents. We kept it online for a couple months. And in the spring, we did a follow-up where we took people who volunteered from that first group to be panelists for us. So we had more questions to ask them, and we also wanted to find out how their attitudes were changing over time with the iPad. And so out of that original 1,600, we got 561 people to be able to take a second survey following up. We have had a summer survey running since July 15th. We have been getting announcements about it in other websites, and also, of course, on the RJI website. So far, we have about 500 people who have participated in the survey. We're going to keep this one online for another month. We have some arrangements with a couple of other companies that have major apps like AP to be able to help promote the survey. We're hoping to build that up again to somewhere around 1,000 or so. We will then, we're also going to be doing a phone survey that will be done this fall. We're probably going to do that October, November. We're working with our Center for Advanced Social Research, or CASR, at the Missouri School of Journalism. And the plan there is to do a phone survey. We'll do about 800 plus people in a random selection. About 60% of the people will be with landlines, 40% will be with cell phones. And they're very good at doing this. So this will be a much broader survey looking at how they consume news and how they're using different types of mobile devices to get their news, and attitudes towards news on these devices. We'll do another tablet survey in the spring to follow up on the ones we've done so far. And again, what we're looking at here is a longitudinal study to see how attitudes change. Also, with our broader tablet surveys, we're not looking just at the iPad, we're looking at the Android devices as well, and what else is out there. And it's international, because clearly now we're way beyond just the US being involved, and we're finding subscribers to publications now in the US all over the world. So this is really, I think, important to know. And we'll probably do a follow-up mobile survey in the fall of 2012. So that's all part of the DPA effort. Now, I'm not going to talk about the statistics we have right now. First, let me tell you that the results of our first two survey, all of the results, are available on the rjionline.org website. You can go there and check that out in detail. And after we have completed this survey, we'll have those results out on the website as well. But for the DPA members, one of the advantages of being a member of the DPA is you get first access to all the results of our surveys and all of our research and projects that we work on that are DPA sponsored. After the DPA members have had a time to review it, then we put that up on the website. We also have, for the DPA members, the opportunity, if they want the raw data from all of our surveys, and they want to do their own analysis of that data, they can just request it and they get it all. Only DPA members get the raw data. And then I've indicated here on the website, the URL that we have, you'll find that you can easily get to it by doing a bit of a search on iPad and a few other things to get to that information. But we have the DPA iPad Research Project. We're probably going to change that to DPA Tablet Research Project. But on that page, you'll find links to all of the results of all of our surveys, as well as links to the current surveys being done. And we hope that you'll encourage other people to take the survey if they have a tablet. Now, among the projects that we have worked on over the last couple of years, the newsbook project has been one of my favorites. And this has been going on since 2007. We actually started doing newsbooks taking the stories that newspapers had done as investigative reports, which they've obviously invested a lot of money and time into, and to put them into an ebook format. It was kind of interesting that we've been doing this for the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, other newspapers, including the Memphis Commercial Appeal, we did one for as well. The New York Times recently did its Open Secrets newsbook that was taking all the WikiLeaks material and telling about how that story happened. And they put that together as a newsbook for Amazon, for the Kindle, and they also put it together for the in iBooks for the iPad. The story in the New York Times at that point said that this was the first time they'd ever done a newsbook, which was a little disappointing to me because we've been working with them since 2007. But it's a classic case of the often the marketing people don't necessarily talk to the reporters. What was interesting about this, and we actually created a newsbook store as a pilot to see if there was enough interest in buying these newsbooks, because the whole point of doing the newsbooks was to create another source of revenue for newspapers to help support quality journalism and investigative reporting. We found that there was a market, but the newsbooks that sold the best, without much of a surprise to it, were the ones where the newspapers actually promoted them on their website. So they were directing people to the storefront that we had created, where they could actually purchase and download the newsbook to their computer. The point of the newsbooks is this represents an opportunity for newspapers that can be quite simple, actually. This is all PDF and could actually be marketed through the individual websites or through a store that could be set up for us. What we actually did, by the way, I want to point out, is that we created, working with a computer science student from India, the JavaScript tools to automate a lot of what we were talking about earlier about being able to automate, but actually within InDesign there are great capabilities to automate a lot of the production. So we took all of the routine things that are done in producing a newsbook, setting up the templates, and then flowing text into each of the different files directly. So the stories that only really were a headline and text didn't really require much work for anyone to produce, but the ones that required more graphic input, there was plenty of room there within InDesign for the designer to go in and actually enhance it, to add the graphics and the photos into it, and have some control over the design. So there were still opportunities to be both automated as well as being produced by designers. We're looking beyond just doing the taking of stories from newspapers and repackage them. One of the problems we found, of course, was all the layoffs since about 2007. Newspapers are doing fewer and fewer investigative reports. And so for the most part, it's the larger newspapers that are doing the investigative reports that actually would lend themselves to being a newsbook that could generate revenue. What we're beginning to look at more is how the concept of the newsbook could be adapted to produce products that really focus more on advertising models and how we could bring advertisers into the newspaper with something that's more of an advertorial type of product, where you would have the advertising from a local market bringing people into that product, but also have some editorial content with it, or at least material that would help to support that. That would be separate from the editorial newspaper product, but it could generate revenue. And that's what we're looking at, is how do we generate revenue outside of the traditional newspaper model that could help support the quality journalism at a newspaper. Okay. We're also now exploring how we can adapt what we've done with JavaScript for being able to produce apps for the tablets, and exploring production that might work with the Nook and, of course, the new Amazon Fire. The other thing that we do in the DPA is hosting events. Many of those events are hosted at the RJI building in Columbia, Missouri. We have our DPA meetings usually there twice a year, and we have we've been trying to do a tablet. We were doing e-reader symposiums, now we're doing mostly tablet symposiums. in our facilities there. So we've done, in December of 2010, we had a very successful symposium that brought in, we almost filled up, I think, the forum at that point with people that came to participate. And we got really good response from that. In April of this year, we had another symposium that's part of our RJI Innovations Week. That was also, I think, quite successful. And then, of course, we're doing the one today and tomorrow where the DPA and RJI are working with ASNE and SND to be able to produce this event. One of the things we are looking at, and very seriously right now, is what is the future of the Digital Publishing Alliance? And this is where I need your help, and I need your suggestions. We're assessing, and this is really important, I think, for RJI's perspective, is to assess what our impact is on journalism and news organizations. That's really key to the future of RJI and really key to all the projects that we're working on. So I'll be coming back to the DPA members, trying to get input as much as we can about what we've done over the past couple of years. What have we done that has really helped you in some way? And what could we do in the future? And so one of the things we are looking at is possible partnerships. This is an example of one of our partnerships with ASNE, but looking at other news organizations as well. And again, we're going to be back polling members of the DPA. And certainly at this point, what I'm interested in is your feedback about the Digital Publishing Alliance. Now, we formed this in 2006 when e-readers were just coming on the market. And now the tablets are here. This is a vision that I've been pursuing for a long time. The question is, how can we serve the newspaper industry better with the ability that we have at RJI to bring in graduate students to work with us in different departments, different schools, that we can make it easier for you to get access to some of the technologies that you might not be able to do on your own.
And by the way, nobody asked me to do this. I am a DPA member, and I was sitting here thinking about the years that I've been involved with DPA, which goes back now several, and I think I've been to every DPA symposium for a long time. For those of you who haven't been involved and are thinking of being involved, I just wanted to give you a couple points on some of the benefits that we found. I'm Vince Kern, I'm with the Detroit Media Partnership. A lot of what obviously, Rogers was on the cutting edge of tablets back in the 80s, and if you haven't seen the videos, go and check it out. And how many people have iPads here today? So Rogers' dream is now reality. We're so far past Rogers' dream that you got to be gratified. Congratulations. But as a member of a media company, a lot of the things that Roger is talking about, and the DPA and Brian and the group at RJI, bring to media companies things that are way ahead of the curve. People like Guy, the gentleman from Memphis, met Guy, talked at DPA. It's a great opportunity, even if your newspaper isn't moving in some of the directions that you're seeing here today. You gain the knowledge, you gain the experience, you gain the contacts, and when you come back and reveal the studies and some of the information, it gives you a perfect place to strategize from. So I just wanted to say, if anybody's thinking about it, feel free to contact me and probably any of the other DPA members. Roger didn't ask me to do this, but I did want to put in a plug for the DPA because I've been coming for quite a long time now, and many people here have, and it's just been a real valuable experience. So sometimes it's good to hear it from the members as well as the people who are leading the groups.
Thank you very much. That was not a paid-for commercial. Okay, if there's no other questions or points you'd like to make, we'll hand it back over to Brian.